Hey. So I just wanted to film a really quick do's and don'ts. And it's probably one of those tips that you maybe feel you don't need to know, but actually can be really beneficial. And I know I've talked about this technique a lot in previous videos, certainly here on IGTV and also on YouTube, but that's lower lash line liner and how to create really pretty lower lash line liner. Now, for some of you, this might be how you've always done your lower lash line liner. Some of you might think it doesn't look too bad, but for me, I definitely find it quite jarring. It's too dark, it's too intense, and it's not flattering my eye shape. I've done some eyeshadow and stuff on top, but I've certainly worked with clients in the past who've only ever done eyeliner along the lower lash line. I wonder if you might be one of those people. And I have a theory, and that is that those people that have always only ever done a bit of eyeliner on the lower lash line do that because that's what they did when they first started experimenting with makeup. And little throwback for me here, I remember when a girl called Laura Yarborough joined my class. Hi Laura, haven't spoken to her in 25 years. But she wore delicate brown eyeliner along her lower lash line, and I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. So I tried to copy her. One time my mum busted me and was like, take off that eyeliner, sweatheart. But it came much more naturally to apply eyeliner pencil along my lower lash line than it did trying to do it on top. I think I tried to do my top lash line once and didn't attempt it again for another 4 years because I was like, this feels too awkward and it's too difficult. So that's my theory. I think some people who only ever wear liner on the underneath do it because it's easier in what they've done since they started experimenting with makeup. I think it makes my eyes look too heavy. I think it's too harsh. And I think certainly photographically, it can make the eyes look much smaller than they really are. So the technique I prefer, my do, is I'll often start with something like my bronzer. This is the classic Bobbi Brown medium bronzer. Fluffy brush. This is Katie Jane Humes and Spectrum X Spectrum collection. And with a bit of bronzer, I just start sweeping along the lower lash line. Now I choose bronzer because it's kind of in keeping with the rest of the look and it's only kind of my starting point. But the thing to note, fluffy brush, not something too tightly bound, something quite floppy will help you achieve a really soft, subtle start to your lower lash line liner. And if you've attended any of my masterclasses, you'll know I always suggest going much deeper than you think. This, I would say this is really quite thick, but it cuts my eye, I think, making it look a bit severe. Whereas doing your lower lash line shadow much lower keeps the whole look that much softer. Now, if you want to make it more intense, by all means, go back in with your pencil. I want to show you first how you can do it with shadow to still get definition, get a much softer effect. So I used the Naked Reloaded palette by Urban Decay for my top eyeshadow. So with a smaller brush, again, this is Katie Jane Humes X Spectrum, I'm going to go into this End Game, which is a nice dark brown matte shadow. And I'm going to start pushing that very gently in the outer corner of my eye, trying to get it as close to the lash line as possible. There we go, to start making that eyeliner look that little bit more intense. But do you see how I'm getting definition and framing, but without the harshness of the black on this side? I'm also taking a flat brush here, dipping back into the same matte brown shadow. It's called End Game. And now let me just flip to the mirror a sec. I'm just going to push it into my lash line from above the lashes just to try and minimise the amount of fleshy pink skin I can see between my lashes, again to help it look that little bit stronger. Also, can you see I'm not coming all the way in? So I'm keeping it all together much softer. Now I'm going to go back to the softer brush that I had the bronzer on, and I'm just going to blend the edge of that darker shadow. There we go. So they blend into each other. If you want it stronger still, this is where I'm going to show you how to use the pencil. Instead, this is the Victoria Beckham Black Kajal, which I love. But again, I'm going to just actually take it on my brush. It's really soft, so you can do it with this one. And I'm just going to very gently again take it right into the root of the lashes, mainly in the outer corner. So it is that little bit darker. I find the Max Factor kohl pencil is good for this technique too. And then again, let's just smudge that into the brown. And you can continue that process until you've got, you know, the lower lash line that is as strong and as intense as you so desire. But somehow, because it's a layering process and you're doing powders and you've worked it into your bronzer, actually the finish, let's just tweak that, sorry, as you can see, is significantly softer. And there we go, I've just finished the look with a little bit of mascara on my lower lash lines. There's nothing wrong with using pencil along your lower lash line. However, I believe that blending powders in neutral tones and then, you know, perfecting with a bit of eyeliner pencil gives a much softer, much more modern look.